To compare Caleb Williams to the greatest athlete in professional sports history is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And why would they actually sell that to this show? I don't understand it. Again, it's all about selling, and it draws people to want to watch this and try to compare these guys and the comparison to the great Michael Jordan. And if Caleb Williams becomes a superstar player in Chicago, they're going to compare. This is what always happens in Chicago. Look, they have a young kid like Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is going to be a superstar. He's going to be the next Connor McDavid, some people think. The ability that he has. We'll see how he transitions and his game transitions as he gets older. He's only 18 years old, going to be 19, going into his second season of his career. But he showed great promise. Chicago is a city which a lot of pressure. It brings a lot of pressure. It's just like New York. Everybody calls New York the Mecca of basketball, but what Mecca has it brought? It's brought nothing. The last championship the Mecca of basketball has brought for the New York Knicks was in the 70s. The Knicks haven't won a championship in 40 or 50 years. Okay, so it doesn't make sense on why they still call New York the Mecca of basketball. But again, Rucker Park is here, and a lot of great street ballers come from New York. Chicago is a city where, obviously Michael Jordan brought to the center stage. And now you have guys like Caleb Williams. You have guys like Connor Bedard. You want that next superstar. They've been craving that next superstar. They've been craving, that championship. Now, Chicago, the last championship, the Chicago, the city has brought was Chicago Blackhawks. The domination when you had Patrick Kane there and you had Towns there, for teams there for years of dominance of hockey. Now you're looking at football and you're looking at basketball. You're trying to find that next generational type of player that you can compare to Michael Jordan. And now with Caleb Williams, Chicago has never had a quarterback this talented. Justin Fields is a talented player, sensational player. And I think Justin Fields is going to have a sensational career. If it's not with Pittsburgh, it will be with somebody else. But he's not Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has the ability to really change this game. And when we watch Aaron Rodgers and we're trying to find guys that we can compare to Aaron Rodgers, he is probably the closest thing to Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, we mentioned when we spoke about Aaron Rodgers in the beginning of the show, the comparisons of, Dan Marino and him. This guy is not the fastest guy out of the pocket, but he can move on the run. He's very accurate. Probably one of the best accurate and most accurate quarterbacks we've seen come out of college since Aaron Rodgers. He's got all the arm strength. He can throw 60-yard passes down the field. He can throw 70-yard passes down the field. His comparison of his arm could be Patrick Mahomes-esque or even Josh Allen-esque. But we have to see how his development in the NFL is going to be. And Matt Eberflus, I don't trust him. I don't trust him in a hole in the wall. I don't think he's a good coach. He's a defensive coordinator. He shouldn't have kept this job. If you're going to get rid of Justin Fields, I would have gotten rid of Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus has done nothing for this team or even some of these young players. Now, in the second half of the season, they started playing better, but under a third-string quarterback. You brought in DJ Moore, and you had a weapon like that. Why didn't you use him as much as – and now everybody's going to say, well, if you look at DJ Moore, he had a great season. DJ Moore, for the 1,300 yards that he had and the 9 or 10 touchdowns that he had during the season, it was in spurts. There were games that he had 2 touchdowns. There were games that he had 3 touchdowns. There were games that he had 1 touchdown and 250 yards. He never had a straight 5 weeks of dominance. And why? Because of the quarterback play, because of the play calling. Now they brought in a new offensive coordinator this offseason. We'll see how that works. Caleb Williams is a different beast. He's an emotional kid. He goes out there. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He can't do that in the NFL. He has to play. He's got to be cold-blooded. Ask Aaron Rodgers. Ask Patrick Mahomes. Ask Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the reason why Josh Allen never played in a Super Bowl, the reason why he's never beaten Kansas City in the playoffs is because he's not cold-blooded. He needs to figure that out if he wants to be a dominant force in this NFL. Now, I did not watch Hard Knocks. I don't know much about, obviously, episode 1. I will get a chance to watch it tomorrow. What I do know about the Chicago Bears is they added a lot of good pieces this offseason. They brought in odunze as their 9th pick. I think he's going to be a special player. Keenan, we all know what Keenan Allen is when he was on with the Chargers. The numbers he put up last year with a backup quarterback, a third-string quarterback at some points of the season last year, we know what he could be. They paid him a lot of money. They extended him, and they gave him a lot of money. How old is Keenan Allen? He's 32, 31 years old. He's at the tail end of his career. And you gave DJ Moore an extension as well. If you sit here today and you look at the Chicago Bears team, they're in a division that's very competitive, okay? The Lions are going to be competitive. The Green Bay Packers are going to be competitive. Even the Vikings are going to be competitive this year because of certain players. If you look at Justin Jefferson, you think Justin Jefferson isn't going to go out there every single week and try to put up big numbers and try to give his team a chance to win every single week? He will. The Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love just got paid big bucks. He's going to go out there and try to put up big numbers. And Jared Goff and that team is expected to win or go to the Super Bowl this year. So they're in a division that is just very competitive. And now you're putting this team together, a mega team together, an offense with Swift and Keenan Allen and obviously odunze and DJ Moore and now Caleb Williams. You put a lot of pressure on this kid. There's a lot of pressure on this kid to compare him to Michael Jordan right now as early as you have, when he hasn't even stepped on a professional football field yet in an NFL game. That's scary. I think it's a big mistake. I think this is a lot of pressure on him. And we saw what happens when you put pressure on Caleb Williams as he was crying away in USC.